Hey everyone, today we're going to be discussing the newest wave of Star Wars Retro Collection figures from the Obi Wan Kenobi series. These figures will be released in September of 2022 and are currently available for pre-order. Now, the first figure of this wave, of course, is Obi Wan Kenobi himself in his Wandering Jedi robes. Now, this card back is of him on Daiyu while he's searching for the young Princess Leia. And they gave him a cloth hood and cloak. And I actually really like how they did the hood. So it looks like the hood itself is stitched on, probably to make it easier to actually go over his head and to kind of cover his face a little bit more. And then they gave him a blaster as well as his iconic blue lightsaber. And the blaster, as you can see in this shot here, actually fits in his holster. So I do love the blue outfit that he wore on the Tibetan station scenes, but I can see why they went with just the Wandering Jedi robes here. Looks pretty good. Next up, we have Darth Vader. And this figure, at first I thought they might just do a reissue of the New Hope version of him, but they actually kind of did an entire overhaul of this figure. So he has a cloth goods cape, and then he will no longer have the sliding lightsaber that comes out of his wrist and forearm, but a separate red lightsaber that he can hold in his hand. It's removable. So I like how they did that, and then just the torso and the legs look like they're completely resculpted as well. And if you look closely, you can see a good red tint to the eyes, which is something they've really been kind of making sure that is included in all of their helmets and figures for this line. So it looks pretty good. So next we go into the Inquisitor. So we get 3 of the 4 Inquisitors that are featured in this show. So first, of course, is the Grand Inquisitor. And actually, the card back here, I don't know that we've seen this scene yet, a few episodes into the show, but he's looking pretty menacing there. And this figure has a vinyl cape that goes around his arms, but then covers only half his back, so it's kind of cut out along his back so that you can in theory attach his lightsaber to his back like how he wears it in the show. And I really like the lightsaber that they gave all the Inquisitors. So it's got the circle hilt and 2 red blades. It's all one color, of course, just with the retro style. They're just going to use one color mold for these, but I think it turned out pretty well. Now next up we have Reva, the third sister. Now this figure was announced quite a bit ahead of the rest of the wave, so we knew that she was coming a few weeks before the rest. But probably my favorite feature about her is her hair. So they really did her braids well, and then her ponytail actually hangs down over part of her vinyl cape. So I thought that was kind of a cool touch, kind of something unique to her. And then the other difference between her and the other Inquisitor figures is that her lightsaber is not a full circle hilt, but just the half circle hilt. Still double bladed, still all red, but just a little bit unique for her. And last but not least, with the Inquisitors, we have the 5th brother. Now, I do like how this figure looks. He's probably my least favorite character in the show out of the Inquisitors, but just with how he looks, I can see why they chose to include him in this wave. He's got a really cool helmet, so overall a really good addition to this wave. And I think it's really neat that they are including 4 dark side users in this wave. So typically we get a lot of the heroes and maybe 1 bad guy per wave. This one is 4 out of the 6 are your bad guys. So last but not least, for the wave to round it out, we have the droid Ned B, who is the kind of loading droid. He's been, very lightly used in the series so far, so it's a little surprising to me that they chose to include him over somebody like a young Leia or like Tala or someone like that. But overall, the figure itself is really cool looking. It looks like he stands a little bit taller than the rest of the figures, I do like the color palette that they chose. I think it gives a very kind of, that retro Kenner feel to it. And of course he comes with his hammer. So it'll be interesting to see if he is featured a little bit more in the last couple episodes of the show. But so far he's just a kind of a cool looking droid to include. So I think if I was making this line, I would probably want young Leia with, of course, her little droid Lola included in the wave. Now, I could see this being an issue where Hasbro was not given the full details of the show and maybe just some character art, and they were trying to actually get these figures to us, a little bit more quickly, instead of having to wait a year out from when the show aired. So if that's the reason why they left her out, I totally understand if Lucasfilm was wanting to keep that under wraps. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait and hope for a wave 2 for this show, which may be unlikely, at least in the near future, as I think that we're going to be moving on to other new content. Next year we'll probably get a Return of the Jedi wave as well. So if they circle back and include some of these other figures, it may be a while down the road. So we'll have to wait and see. I think probably in this line, my favorite is the revamped Vader figure. I really like the updates that they chose to do with him, and I'm glad that they didn't just do a simple repack on a new card for him. Let me know what you guys think. Who's your favorite figure of this line? And, who would you have chosen if you were creating this wave? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to stay up to date with our future toy reviews. Thanks, and may the Force be with you.